I'm Jules.
And I'm Tammy. Welcome to the Lure Bench, where we strive to bring you honest and unbiased reviews and tests.
Today's episode is all about the Venom 150mm V-Pop. After unboxing and taking a closer look at the V-Pop, we'll be checking out its action from our underwater swim test, followed by our casting test.
Following that, we'll be taking it through a series of strength and durability tests.
So let's get into it. Well, this is quite the unique color choice. This is a traditional standard barbell popper. Noticeable standout features are that big eye profile, raised lip, and gills. V-Pops come pre-rigged with what looks to be a pretty good terminal, and we'll be putting that to the test later on in this episode. Heading over to the Wilson website, here we can see the full range of available colors, which has to be one of the more unique color ranges available on the market right now. It comes in 3 different sizes from 100, 150, and 190mm, with the 150 that we're reviewing today coming in at $39.99.
This has got to be the most interesting colour range of lures I've ever seen. One does look like sprinkles.
One looks like Iron Man, one looks like a toddler painted it.
But hey, we know they catch fish. We've seen the photos proving that they catch fish. But we want to hear from you. Do you think colour matters? And drop a comment below.
I will say though, besides the colors that gave me a bit of a shock, the terminal that comes on these looks like it's good quality, and I'm excited to see how that'll hold up during our testing.
Alrighty, up next is our castability test. Let's go see how it casts.
The box claims a weight of 75 grams. Turns out this is the unrigged weight, and the real weight comes in at 85 grams. Today I'll be using my trusty Seacore PE6 rod with a Daiwa Certate 10K, spooled with PE8 ammonite casting braid. A PE3 to 6 or just straight 5 would also be appropriate for this lure. Wind was fairly minimal on this day, moving from right to left and slightly in front of me. The first cone you see is set up at 50 meters, and each cone after is set up at 5 meter intervals. This gives us a rough idea of how far they're traveling. So for the castability test, it actually did really well. I managed to make a mistake, and that last cast was my fault, not the lures. It surprised me that for a 150mm, it actually went really far. The wind really affects these tests, and it's really hard to get accurate testing because even the smallest gust capturing it can make a massive difference. So let's move on to our underwater swim test. This is some really cool action, so we're not going to be doing any voiceover, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
So I think this popper is awesome. The action's awesome. Poppers are designed with a cup face to push water and create commotion. So that's exactly what this one does, but it's also got a really nice S movement in the water. Really impressed with this one.
So for that footage, I did 2 types of motions. I gave it short, sharp stabs with the rod tip, and that long sweep just really pulled that down and got an awesome bubble trail. The V-Pop has a very large cup, and I expect it to be really hard to work, but it was super stable and it never blew out of the water. This has to be one of the easiest poppers I've had to use, even in testing or in real life. So I'm super impressed with that from such a large cup. A great popper for beginners.
So just a quick recap. The colors are unique. The castability is really good for a 150 and the swim test is fantastic.
Yeah.
Our first torch test is the shaker test. This is designed to simulate the motion of the boat going up and down and replicate what happens to our lures when they're in the tackle box. Ultimately, this test is designed to check the durability of the paint.
Alright, after 15 minutes in our shaker, we can see some clear damage down the side of the lure, which actually resembles what happens to a lure from just casting and retrieving all day with those hooks bashing against it. And taking a look underneath, we can see some good scratching happening there. Over on the other side, we see a similar scratch pattern from the hooks. The paint still held up reasonably well and isn't flaking or chipping off.
This is the kind of damage we expect to see on a lure when we get home from a day of fishing. So I think it's really cool that this test simulated that perfectly.
Next test that we have is our pull test. In this test, because this is a pre-rigged lure, we'll be leaving the standard split rings and hooks on and testing it as it comes out of the box.
At this point, we see the front split ring start to fail. We replaced that front split ring with a 9.0 to continue testing. And here we get a little bit more out of that rear split ring before it fails. Onto the belly hook. For some reason here we get a lot more pressure and the hook actually fails before the split ring. Now that we've tested the stock terminals, we've added a 9.0 split ring to the front and back to test what would happen if you tried upgrading the terminals. And it looks like a win for the V-Pop.
Alright, so after reviewing that footage, the terminal tackle that it comes with is set up to match the lure and its intended purposes. One thing I like to do with my lures, and I'd happily do if I was fishing this, is upgrade that front split ring to make sure that I get my lure back, and if anything's going to fail, it'll be the hooks or that rear split ring.
Because the through wire has started misshapen, we wouldn't recommend upgrading the other split rings and hooks as you may damage the lure.
Because it is an ABS plastic, when those wires start to pull away from the body, it forms a gap in which water can ingress into your lure and flood the internals, meaning it won't float or perform like it should. So to avoid this, fish it straight out of the box, or upgrade that front split ring and nothing else. Now it's time for our heat test.
To simulate what happens if we leave our lure box in the direct sunlight, we left the V-Pop underneath the heat lamp for approximately 15 minutes and topped out over 75 degrees, which appeared to have no effect on the V-Pop.
Alrighty, now for the fun part, our bite test. So this test is to replicate the damage done by large predatory fish.
Here's a reminder of how things started, and this is what it looks like after our testing. You can see the belly toe point has had its angle changed due to the pull test. We have some heavy dents from the jaws and a lot of scratching from the shaker test. That rear toe point has also been affected, but it would still land the fish. You've had a good day of fishing if your lure looks like this at the end of the day.
After all our testing, we think this lure, the 150, would be great for medium-sized fish such as coral trout, smaller GTs, Spanish mackerel, kingfish, and other pelagic species. If you are wanting to target bigger GTs, bigger tuna and stuff like that, we would recommend going up to the 190.
Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts were on how this lure performed and what species you would target using the V-Pop.
A massive thank you to the guys at Wilson for willingly providing this lure for today's testing. And that's all from the Lure Bench today, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. And as I said previously, we would love your feedback. Like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.
Does the genie come out when you rub it? Just talking. Kazza.
Okay.
Yeah, cocked that up, didn't I? Go.